Welcome to the Immigration Therapist Podcast, a podcast for immigration attorneys and therapists that want to learn more about immigration evaluations. So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about HIPAA compliance. And this is a subject that actually both professions, therapists and immigrations, are bound to. So both therapists and attorneys, we are mandated reporters. Obviously, us therapists, even more than any other profession, but I know that, immigration attorneys also have the HIPAA compliance of being mandated reporters as well. But I want to talk about HIPAA compliance, which embodies not just the mandated reporter aspect, it embodies many other aspects, right? So that's what I want to talk about today. So, how does HIPAA compliance come into play when it comes to immigration evaluations? The way that I handle it is I handle it just like any other therapeutic scenario. We are, as licensed professionals, we have responsibilities with our licenses, and that entails HIPAA compliance. So, again, the usual that we all know. We are mandated reporters. We can't speak to anybody other than the client unless they've given us written authorization, which in our field, it's called a release of information. And we have to be very careful when it comes to talking to other people involved in the client's case when it comes to immigration evaluations, because we're also dealing with several other professionals, other people, there's still the HIPAA compliance. So I want to talk about that. What I do is it starts from the point of contact, meaning when they call and I have a front desk person, I have a VA, virtual assistant, who comes in 2 days out of the week, actually in person, and she's trained and she knows that we are equally as HIPAA compliant with immigration clients as we are with our therapy clients. At my agency, I don't just do immigration evaluations, I also do therapy. By the way, we do, we see children, adolescents, adults. I have other clinicians that work with me. I have a psychologist, doctorate level, who also sometimes also does immigration evaluations. But that's for another subject, another episode. But yeah, it starts from the point of contact when clients call. So for example, my front desk knows that, for example, when a client calls asking for an immigration evaluation, it needs to be them. We need to speak to the client, because what you'll see a lot with immigration evaluations clients, a lot of the times the spouse will call. For example, with hardship cases, when it has to do with the citizen or the resident coming to see me because of the immigrant. A lot of the times we'll see the immigrant calling us. For example, hi, my husband needs to do an evaluation with you. We just left the immigration attorney's appointment and he needs to come in and do sessions. I need to know how much. I need to know, when you have availability, blah, blah, blah. I need this for yesterday. That's great and all that they're calling, but they're not our clients. The client is a spouse. So we have to keep that in mind. So for example, my front desk knows that the spouse can call and she will give out information. But when it comes to scheduling the session, confirming the sessions, having the paperwork filled out, it has to be the client. We really, really have to keep this into account when it comes to, for example, domestic violence clients, VAWA clients. I've had situations where the client called, and again, in VAWA cases, the immigrant, meaning the person who's undocumented or struggling with their status in the country, that's who our client is, right? I've had scenarios where I've had the spouse call So meaning the abuser call and contact us. We have to be very, very careful because even though we're doing immigration evaluation, we are still bound by our ethics and our licenses, protocols and rules and regulations. So HIPAA compliance is still a thing dealing with immigration evaluations. So it's important that we stay very aware that even though our mindset needs to change and needs to broaden a little bit when it comes to immigration evaluations, we need to be aware that we have this responsibility for us, but for the client. Because as we know, HIPAA laws exist for the client. So that's what I wanted to cover when it comes to HIPAA compliance. We need to stay, the rules still apply. Our license is what upholds the utmost requirements and expectations when it comes to dealing with clients, regardless of whether we're dealing with therapy clients or immigration evaluation clients. We still have to be aware and implement HIPAA compliance from the point of contact to the paperwork that they fill out to who and how we talk to clients, who we allow to come into sessions. If the client wants to be accompanied by someone else, in the appointment, that's great, awesome. But there's still HIPAA compliance. There's still forms that need to be filled out, and I just wanted to talk about that because just because we're doing an immigration evaluation, it doesn't mean that those laws and regulations and ethics, need to be discarded. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. And don't forget, you can reach us online on our website, centerforimmigrationevaluations.com, and on my Instagram page, which I promise one day I'll get by heart, which is immigration_evaluations_center. Again, immigration_evaluations_center. See you on the next one.